Today we're going to come back to the negotiation section, and the negotiation, okay, and the office politicking. These are the two important things. We're going to get started. Before that, I want to talk a few minutes about the LinkedIn project. I give everyone, I finished it last night, all those LinkedIn, okay, I have hundreds of them to read. I have some interesting news for you. One of my students in another section, not this section, who got a job offer for internship. He was so happy, okay, and he talked to me, and I want to talk a little bit about this LinkedIn project, okay. He tried to apply for a lot of things, nothing. Then he got an internship. They found him from his LinkedIn. Then they text him, interview him, hire him. Okay, so LinkedIn can be potentially very, very powerful. And I want to go over this with you first, because I give a lot of you folks some comments, and I still have a lot more questions. What do you mean? What do you mean? So let me go over this briefly. Then we'll review Jeremy's bio, why he got the job, okay? And first one, you have to know who's your audience, what is your purpose about this LinkedIn. A lot of you just write something random because it's a project, it's an assignment. No, think about it. What's your purpose? I want to use this to find a job, or I just want to have some presence there, or I want to promote my company on the side, or whatever. You can do a lot of things, but identify what's your primary purpose for this, okay? Second thing, okay, we have to have some general characters. A lot of you did a good job. These are the key things company are looking for. Very persistent, have good leadership, teamwork skill, detail-oriented, I'm very responsible, I'm a hard worker, all these stuff. Oh, I forgot something, right? Team building or team skill, okay? Then special skill. Do you have any special skill, certification, computer, language, or anything? This is the one so many people don't understand, achievement. You can say I'm a person with responsibility. I'm a person hardworking. Are you bluffing? Do you have any evidence? You use achievement, okay? I'm a very responsible person. My boss trusts me to close something, and that's achievement. So I close the cashier every midnight, Monday, Wednesday, okay? And because I'm ethical, I'm loyal, I'm responsible. So you use some of the achievement can be a job, can be certain task. Closing something for the cashier, that's this, okay? And I do some specific training for my boss. That's a specific task. So talking about your leadership, talking about your communication skill, you can use this as well as a backup. So always try to use something you accomplished from the job, the task, the schoolwork, or the church to back up all these different characters, okay? Next one, so what? A lot of people just put down blah, 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 I'm good, I'm this, I'm that, boom, finish. I want you to say, so what? Means, so I comment on a lot of people's LinkedIn. I say, would you add 1 or 2 sentences about your career goal? So I'm looking for an internship. I'm looking for a job in what area, in what type So the company knows, oh, this guy is interested in our field. Maybe we should consider him. Or this guy is only interested in internship. So you want to talk a bit about your long-term, short-term goal. What do you want? What, okay, do you have anything want them to follow? So what? And these are the final check. Number one, quite a few of you have one long paragraph. The paragraph so long, I cannot finish. I couldn't breathe. Too long. Please break it to what? Several small paragraphs. Something similar to the bullet. Each paragraph had one or two focuses. Okay? Then the third one, try to avoid typos or punctuation problems. Okay? Last one, do you have a good photo with a bright smile? I have several students. Everything is good, but the photo is too dark. Background, whatever, your face are so dark. People cannot see your eyes. People cannot see your face clear. You have to have a bright smile. What does that mean? Go to your cell phone. Go over your photos. Find a couple good ones, barbecue or something. You are very happy with the smile, with the energy. Then cut it. Of course, you don't want to put your boyfriend there, okay? Just yourself. Then post it. You have someone to take a picture for you, but the face is dark or portrait. I don't recommend that. The last one is the keywords. Throughout your text, do you have all these keywords? Team building, hard work, responsibility. Because a lot of these recruiters, they find you. Not because they read your stuff. Because the search engine, they try to search for the potential, okay, people by these keywords. So you have to know in your entire writing or text, you have to have 5 to 10 keywords. So you are more likely to be found. Okay, so that's the guideline. So if you still have a question, you can ask me now, okay, or you can ask me later. And now I want to show you the student who got the job, okay, and this is, let me see, where is his, right here. This is the about section about the student who just got the job offer, okay? I'm a student that is highly persistent. I work very hard to accomplish my goal, okay? And this is talk about his major. Then currently I work in a fast-paced professional as a pharmacist technician. Okay, that's current job. I believe in teamwork. See that? That is essential, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and I recommend him to what? To add one example or one achievement there. I can be a little bit more perfectionist. Okay, I aspire innovation. Okay, critical thinking. Also, I'm an INTJ, so means okay, I love research, problem solving, etc., etc., etc. Oh, I'm an INTJ. Sorry, a lot of people don't know what is INTJ. You have to tell them it means I am research-oriented, problem solving, okay, and etc., etc. Okay, and very motivated, hardworking. This is his summary. So just because of these pieces, you see, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 short paragraphs. Each paragraph, 1 or 2 sentences. Okay, each one you can identify one of his uniqueness. Okay, and this is person got the job, and more importantly, I told you, That's his picture. Jeremy Dennis. Maybe some of you know him. And here, I want you to pay attention. Under the name, most of you, 80% of you says what? Student, finance major, University of Central Arkansas. How about Jeremy Dennis? He said what? Seeking health service administrators lead internship. Okay, this happened not just this semester, previous semesters. This is a very important space. You have to what? Promote yourself very seriously before they move to the about section. Okay, so if you are still looking for summer internship, here you have to change it. You have to change this. Okay, take the UCA student out. Okay, and a lot of people, the first sentence, hi. You don't have to say hi. My name is. You don't have to say that on the top. I'm a student. It's there. So try to avoid some routine stuff. Talk a little bit about your uniqueness. Talk a little bit about your achievements. And talk a little bit about what kind of things you are looking for, what kind of jobs you are looking for. So hopefully you can get a job for doing that. Okay? Any question or anything? If you don't, let's move to the chapter, okay? So last time, we talked about the negotiation process, okay? And I mentioned briefly, for the past 2 or 3 years, I watched a lot of negotiation between US and Germany, US and China, China and Germany, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and not very effective. Okay, and the reason is multi-cultural negotiation is different from a typical negotiation. Also, another thing I want you to know is what? You have to put down, okay, the status of America, okay, between countries. USA is the largest or most powerful country of the world. Used to be 60%, 70% of the global GDP. Okay, it keeps dropping to less than 50%. So if we negotiate with other country, okay, it's not win-win. We are not seeking for win-win. We are seeking for what? What we want. Okay? If we really want, we can do accommodation. I take the whole thing, you can have this piece, that's it. Otherwise we fight competition. And nobody can what? Afford to compete or what? Get the US upset. So they always doing some negotiation doesn't follow the book. So in the news, you find out a lot of negotiation. That's not something you want to follow. As a businessman, you negotiate with this company, Japan, China, okay? You are American, doesn't mean your company are bigger. You really have to what? Have the win-win mentality. I told you folks a few days ago, we interviewed a professor from Vermont, okay? His company sold to a German company, okay? So you, just because you are American, we are American, doesn't mean we are better or we are, okay, better than other people. Other people are inferior to us, no. For company and the company negotiation, multi-cultural and awareness, multi-cultural negotiation skill is important, okay? So take a look about my approach. I told you folks, I've been vice president for more than 10 years for 3 universities. I negotiate so many deals for the university, okay? And these are my approach. Number one, enlarge the pie. Before I do anything, I always will find a good reason. You work with me, okay? You can help me. You work with me, you can help yourself. So you want to always start it with what? A win-win and a better deal. Okay. Second thing, okay, that's different from the company to company negotiation is what? Win-win or no deal. If you and I cannot reach an agreement this time, let's continue to be friends. Don't move it to other competitors of mine. Just sit there for a while, okay? So I always try to keep a very good friendship, even we couldn't get the win-win for certain reason immediately, but I may come back in half year and get the my result. So win-win or no deal is a good way to do that. Build up the friendship. That's very, very important, okay? And I told you folks, the negotiation between the U.S. Trade Commission with Chinese in Shanghai, okay? It failed because they flew in 10 o'clock p.m. Second day, 10 o'clock a.m. Two sides negotiate, China, U.S., and the U.S. people open the briefcase. This is what we want. Chinese take it, look, read it, they say, what? No deal. That's adjourned. Boom. You take it home. Meeting is 10 minutes, done. Because what? No friendship building, no trust, okay, no relationship building, okay? And did you first, any of you see this movie, Judy Roberts and Richard Gere, called Pretty Woman? If you do, type into the chat, let me know. This is an older movie, okay? Was playing before you were born, okay? I think it's more than 20 years, okay? Why did I mention this movie? Richard Gere was chasing her and took her to a lot of places. In this movie, he played an invest banker, company acquisition. So he was going to buy a company, shipyard, from an older gentleman, okay? The night before the closing, they want to finalize the price and a couple of things, find a loose end. He took her to have a dinner with the owner, and the owner brought his grandson, okay? So I want you to know a lot of companies, okay, they try to get to know each other before the negotiation finalized. Of course, in this dinner, it's different because the dinner didn't turn out to be a good dinner. The older gentleman asked Richard Gere, would you promise not to fire my guys? Would you promise keep their jobs? Could you keep the company? Of course, Richard Gere wanted to what? Rip the company off and then sell pieces and pieces to buy in wholesale and sell in what? Retail. That's how he makes money. And of course, and whether the dinner was successful or not successful is not my point. My point is a lot of important negotiation, okay, we try to build up more friendships, okay, and of course, in that specific deal, okay, it wasn't very successful. So this weekend, if you have some time, want to watch a movie, Pretty Woman, okay, it's a good movie to watch. Talk about the negotiation, okay. So always try to friendship, okay. I remember, okay, I negotiate with Russians, with Germans, with Japanese, with different countries, Koreans, Chinese, Russians. You have to drink liquor, alcohol. If you don't drink, okay, okay, and they're not happy, okay. And I remember I was a social vice president for University of North Carolina, okay, went to Russia and tried to build up some project, bring some of the school teachers to the university to be trained, okay, and they want me to drink a lot of vodka. I can't. So I brought my lieutenant, okay, she can drink, okay, she's a little girl, okay, she can drink a lot of liquor, that's her ability. So I bring her along, okay, everyone tried to knock me out. I said, oh, I got liver problem, okay, Beth, help me, okay, and she can do it, okay, then problem solved. But sometimes this relationship building is very hard because what? A lot of alcohol involved, okay? And of course, that's the sidekick. The key purpose is what? You want to get to know each other. You want to know tomorrow what's the major obstacle. You want to know tomorrow, okay, what kind of stuff they are willing to give it to us. So that's kind of things, okay, very, very crucial, okay, to help us build up the trust and the respect in the facts finding in the friendship building, okay. You always negotiate before the day of negotiation. Try to make arrangements, have a lunch or dinner with the counterpart, okay. May not be the entire team, but you and your counterpart, two of you should have a dinner, okay. Research, research, research. That's very, very important, okay. For any potential partner, I always do research. I know exactly what they want. That is what is the strategic goal of this university, okay, and the student body. And I have to know a lot more, okay, about the background, about the other side. I'll give you another example about buying a car. I help probably 5 students, international students, to buy a brand new car, okay. I'm not a good, really good negotiator, okay, to buy a car. The best person is who? Mr. Eisenhower, Doug Eisenhower, okay, across my office, teaches production management, okay. He was vice president for a lot of companies before he joined UCA as a faculty, okay. He can sit down, talk, and play the games, and this and that, the jokes, and I can't. But I can win, I can get a better deal by doing a research. So for these 4 or 5 cases, I had to do 4 hours minimum research. So the day before I went to the Caldwell Toyota, okay, on the day 1, I brought in 5 pieces of information, give it to the salesperson. I said, you know, I plan to stay here 1 hour, get the deal, sign the paper, go. We are serious. We are making decision today to buy a car. If no deal, we are moving to Little Rock. I want to close this today. This is the price in your website. This is the price, Dallas, Texas. This is the price I obtained from Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. This is the one I find out from New York. Okay, and can you match it? Which one can you match? Okay, then you say, go back, oh, let me talk to my manager. You know that trick, right? Then 20 minutes, come back, says, we match this one. Okay, normally they match Dallas, Texas. Okay, because they know if I don't get the $1,000 difference, I go to Dallas. It's 5 hours, no big deal. I can get the car from Dallas easily. He said, Atlanta, it's another additional $200. You're not going to go there. It's too far to buy a car from Atlanta. So we're not going to match that. Okay? But we're going to beat the price in North Little Rock. We're going to beat the price of our own, we give you this discount. So normally I can get very good deal, $2,000, $3,000 differences. Of course, they are not stupid. They'll come back, says, hey, we don't have your color and we don't have your car. We have this instead. Okay, it's a very good car, except you have to buy this. Okay, so overall will be the same price, but you add these stuff by the book. I said, nope. If you couldn't get the same car at this price, I don't want it. I go to another place. Then they say, okay, let me check. Then they can say, oh, we find the car in Fort Worth, or we find the car in Benton or whatever. It takes 2 weeks to get it or 1 week to get it. One time they told me, oh, we find this exactly the car you want in Houston, still in the port, okay? But we can make a request. So they will ship the car to us. It takes 2 weeks. I said, fine, 2 weeks is fine. Because the price is so good, a RAV4, okay? Exactly the girl want, I don't know, SE or whatever they want, she wants, and the color and everything. It's still in Houston, okay? Just arrived from Japan. So research is my specialty, okay? Sometimes I just don't have that training or expertise to BS, weather, and the jokes, and down to the earth, I use my research ability. So research. And that's very, very important for negotiation. Number 5, empathy. Understanding and to think from the other perspective. That's important. You cannot just say, I think, I want, no. You always think about both ways, empathy, and this semester, I always emphasizing what? Listening skill. This is another thing to practice your listening skill. Do you have a tentative listening skill? Do you pay attention to people? Okay? And during the process, always be creative. Oh, by the way, can we do this? Can we combine something? Okay? New ideas can break a lot of things. Number 7, okay? Create a guideline and a plan. Rules and the procedures, that's important, okay? I was the vice president. I'm upper middle one, maybe normally number 2 person in command, okay? I bring my boss, sometimes I'm number 1. And in a negotiation, okay? I always try to find out ahead of time, okay? So tomorrow, the meeting, what's the procedure? You talk 2 minutes, your boss 2 minutes, my boss 2 minutes, then we do this, then we do what, okay? And during the presentation, we try to avoid this, we try to do that, okay? And I always try to find out the procedure. How do we sit? Face to face, this side, or round table, and allow the details, agenda. I have to have a control. If I host negotiation ceremony or the table, I also purposely including some sweet, nice cookie and a coffee. Okay, in case during the process there's something stuck, the 2 boss, okay, didn't like each other for certain things. We, okay, the second in command or third in command can what? Can use the cookie break to do some breakthrough. Okay, so you have to see the procedure, think about the potential issues, potential problems, some backup plans. Okay, so the procedure is important, agenda is important, and you as a businessman, you want to ensure the success of the negotiation. And your boss can be stubborn, but if you have a flexible way to resolve these potential issues, you will get what you want. You will help your company get the company wants. But this is the trick, okay? You have to make sure all those procedures are well planned, okay? And rules and the procedure. Last one is the most important one. You have to have an implementation plan, accountability for the negotiation. International trade, after the discussion, nothing happened. It's very possible. So you have to say, okay, after this, when can we get the contract signed? When can we get the product? When can we get the sample? When can we get the first batch? Okay, and what will be the latest time you can place your first order? Okay, are students coming in the spring of 2022 or fall of 2022? You have to have some accountability and the plan. If you don't have it, negotiation over, party is over, nothing. Nothing. Okay? So all these are important ones for a middle guy like you, a middle guy like I was, okay, to do the negotiation. Started with what? Win-win case. Come up with a good concept. Both sides going to benefit. Second thing, okay, we want to make sure if the deal is not there, we can keep these friends. We don't want to turn them to our competitors. Okay, we want to keep them. So win-win or no lose. Unfortunately, we don't have it, but we have here. Let's come back and revisit. Okay, this is important. Friendship building. You have to have a what? Meal, good meal with alcohol with your friend. Try to build up trust and respect. Okay, doing research way before you come to the table. During the negotiation, you have to listening skill, evidently. You have to be always creative, okay, to break, okay, those critical things. Then during the process, before the process, you have to well plan the procedure, follow, create some certain rules, okay? We don't like this, we don't like that, and then in the agenda should be very clear ahead of time, so both sides will be happy, both sides, okay, can get along very well. Number 8, okay, you have to have some potential implementable plan. So after this is done, okay, in 2 weeks, in 3 months, in 6 months, what kind of things will be achieved, okay? So if you follow this step as a business negotiation, multicultural negotiation, you will be very successful, okay? So last subject we'll be talking about is office politicking, okay? Office politicking is something everyone try to avoid. You know, most people will tell me, I hate politicking, I leave you alone, would you leave me alone? The answer is no. Human being is human being. As long as there's a group, it's always have politicking. You don't do it, other people do it, you die, you don't even know how you die. How can people be so evil? Sorry, that's human nature. You just have to play. You don't play, you are a fool. Okay? So you cannot leave everyone alone and expecting people to leave you alone. You have to be standing by, protect yourself. Office politicking, necessary evil for bureaucracy. Okay? So let's talk about it. The office, okay, politicking. How can you, what are the good strategy? Number 1, controlling the uncertainty. So 1 to 5 are from the textbook. Maybe I don't quite understand, or maybe I don't know. I don't know how, maybe it's important, I don't know. But number 1, I ignore it. Okay, you can read it, maybe you can understand. Number 2, totally agree. I think it's very important. Make oneself irreplaceable or useful. Okay? A lot of people want to give and take transactional. I don't want to do it unless I get compensated. Okay? Oh, this is 5 o'clock. It's 5:50. Okay? The boss says, who can help me to get this done? You do it. No extra cup. Doesn't matter. Junior guy, always volunteer. Always do extra. So after you accumulate this, you are irreplaceable. People going to miss you. The boss going to say, oh, Germany is not, NJ is not there. Otherwise, this could have been done. You want people to think you are so useful. You are so irreplaceable. So I always volunteer. I always do something extra. My report is always better. Okay? So if a lot of things happen, you will be the last one to let go because the boss think lose you is really a big loss to him as well to the company. So irreplaceable is the best protection for you. You always overachieve. You always make yourself extra value to the company, to your boss. Okay? So number 2, we talk about this irreplaceable. Number 3, talking about being in a central position. Okay? I don't know about central position, but every job has a career path. For bank, if you are best branch manager, can you be the CEO of the bank? No way. How could you be the CEO of the bank? Lending, you can lend a lot of money to people. Okay? So, whenever you start your career, you have to study. How can my boss to get this position? How can the CEO get this position? What are the critical positions? What are the critical career paths in this company? If this is the right track, you go the other track, guess what? You are doomed. Your bonus, your salary, never ever get up. You have to be in the what? Right track. Okay? So maybe in the social time, ask your boss, how did you get this job? What should I do if I want to have similar opportunities? Find out the position, okay? Find out the career path, okay? And that's going to be very, very crucial, okay? Resources. You have to what? Generate more resources or control more resources. Of course, if you have more resources, you can control more people. If you can generate more resources, bring in more money, of course, okay, you're going to be successful. If you are the one bringing a lot of grant from federal government, or from customer, from whatever, irreplaceable. Building up the airlines. I don't like politicking, sorry. Human being is human being. You have to get along with people. You have to have some good buddies. Okay, back you up, back you up. Last one, the textbook didn't say, I put it here. Information management and the control. You don't want to get tired, you don't even know. You don't even know what people call you behind you. Okay? A lot of things, a lot of information, people talk about you, people talk about something. You want to be in the loop of information flow. You want to control information. Okay? So out of the 4, 5, or 6 different bullets, the most important one, always keep in mind is what? Irreplaceable. How to make yourself irreplaceable. Extra work, extra job, extra value. Value added. Second thing, Information. Everything around the company, anything formal, informal, you have to have sufficient information. Last one, strategically find out the critical career paths. What are the important positions? Who are making key advancement? Who are making key decisions? Okay, so once you know that, everything else will be easy. Okay. So let's take a look at the summary about this chapter. Okay. Number one, we talk about conflict. Conflict is necessary and good for innovation and for what? Effectiveness or effective decision making. Everyone agree with you? It's no good and ineffective. Company would achieve optimal conflict. You want to increase the conflict, but never ever go beyond the optimal point. Too much is no good. Conflict can create chaos. Okay. 3 ways, okay, to identify the corporate conflict. First one, relationship, human being, okay, conflict. That's easy. You always find that. The task conflict. Now you learn the management people in the work with me. You know business unit, the task has to be what? Agreeable, cannot have a lot of conflict. Procedure cannot have a lot of conflict. Okay. So in addition to relationship, you should find the source of the task and the procedure. How to resolve the corporate conflict. We can change the corporate structure, corporate culture. We can change the way we allocate the resources, and we have to change the business process. Okay, structure, culture, resources, and the procedure change. These are the 4 major approach to resolve the conflict. Okay, and talk about resolution. We also talk about 4 different ways to resolve conflict: collaboration, compromise, and accommodation. I put them together. Avoidance and competition. Okay, collaboration. We talk about it. Okay, for the past couple days, win-win. Compromise and accommodation, most common scenario. Focusing on what? Splitting. Who gets what? Compromise is more equal position. And accommodation is what? Big brother, small brother. Big brother get a bigger piece. Small, just what? Try to accommodate. But basically, compromise, accommodation, focus on what? Sharing, splitting the pie. Collaboration, totally different. Create a bigger one. How to do a better job. So I told you folks, in the negotiation or conflict resolution, you do 1 and the 2 combined. Okay? You want to discuss how to enlarge the pie. You still cannot overlook how we're going to split the pie. So both sides are important. Okay? Avoidance is also attachment to the win-win. If you cannot get a win-win immediately, can you tentatively postpone it for a while until it's more mature? Don't give up so fast. Time sometimes can help you. Competition is the nothing can do, then compete. Okay? And compete is fair, but compete is not recommended because there's a good possibility lose-lose. Okay? You win on the surface, but your loss is tremendous. Okay? You may or may not lose it. So So everyone try to avoid the competition, direct competition they can, using the compromise, using the collaboration, or avoid it for the time being. Win-win or no deal, that's a new concept. If it's a no win-win, you try to no deal, or you try to what? Postpone it. Don't create a friend. No win-win, then push them to your competitor. That's a stupid thing. Your competitors and this potential customer connected together. You will lose bad. So you cannot win-win or bad relationship. You want win-win or good or no deal. To what? To keep the long-term relationship. Integrated or distributed negotiation, I told you, we'll focus on integrated negotiation, but we still have to what? Pay attention to the distribution, because eventually we want to know what can we get. If you overly avoid the distribution, what you can get, that's not wise. Okay? Negotiation, relationship building is the most important thing. I always told you. It's missing in the American culture. Okay? And in Germany, I think we don't have so many parties with Germans. But for a lot of other culture, relationship is building. Building is very important. Asian country, Japanese, Korean, Russians, and other countries, relationship building, build up the trust. That's important. Okay, and organization politics is unavoidable, and the best way is what? Make yourself irreplaceable, and do a good information monitoring. Okay. You want to be always winning. You have to have pocket full of information about everything. You want to always winning. The best way, the best strategy is what? Nobody want to let you go. You are overvalued. Okay, they lose if they let you go. And of course, I mentioned critical, because identify critical positions for you. That's also important, okay? And I think this is the end of the chapter. Monday, no class. I don't meet you here. You take test, exam 4. Okay, I give you the password before 8 o'clock, so you have the entire morning to do it. If you have a conflict, email me. I give you some extended time or whatever to accompany you if I don't want you to take too many tests, Monday or Tuesday. Okay? So Monday, no class, exam. Please prepare. 10, 11, 14, and 17. Organization structure, control, how to do the control, different assessment, okay? And then we talk about leadership. Then we talk about negotiation and the politics. After Monday exam, Wednesday, we will start the case presentation. Everyone are supposed to come. You don't present, you still want to come. Because, okay, I ask every group, give me questions, conduct a quick quiz on the poll, P-O-L-L. If you don't come, you don't answer those questions, I will track that. I'm still thinking how to motivate you to come for the next 5 presentation. I think it's important for you to learn some famous case in business about diversity. That's the Sodexo. Corporate culture, that's IKEA. About SWOT analysis, that's Campbell Soup. Social responsibility, that's Apple. I want you to what? Summarize everything by understanding these famous cases. So even you are not present, I really expect you to be here because After the presentation, each group will give me 2 or 3 questions. And the participants, I want to know, do you get these points? Or do you have any question with these famous cases? So after Monday, Wednesday, we'll start to do the presentation. 5 more presentation days, then the whole thing is over. Okay? And also next Wednesday, you have ethical decision-making case to write. That's the assessment paper, UCA assessment office want. So please do not forget that. Okay? Other than that, if you have a question, you stay. I'll be glad to answer your question. Otherwise, you have a nice weekend. Monday, you have a good test. Wednesday, we'll come back to the presentation. Okay? Thank you. Those of you who have questions, please stay. Of course, you don't feel like talking to me by Zoom, you can email me or something. But if you do have questions, you want to do it, shoot. Yeah. Any question?
When is the test due on Monday?
Monday, I'm thinking about 12 o'clock. Okay. So your class is 10 to 11. You can start at 8 to 12.
Okay.
You have some special needs for other reasons, email me. I will assess it. Then I can make a couple special approval for individual. 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock, or because you have certain issues or problems. Other than that, I like to see everyone can do it in that block. Majority of you do it in that block.
Okay, awesome.
Variation will be allowed. Yeah. But you have
also,
to let me know.
okay, also another question. Sorry, Omar.
Yeah.
For the presentation, we have these quiz questions you're talking about. You were asking us to come up with questions. So we're supposed to, it's going to be a quiz for everybody at the end.
Yes.
Kind of, right? Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
So these 2 questions, try 2 or 3 questions, try to focus on what? 1 information or 2 information, the other one will be what? Your conclusion. I want people to see whether they understand, you know, after the whole presentation, do they know something about your company? Number 1. Number 2, do they know what's the major issue? Okay, so try to do that. Don't just try to do something overly simple without thinking. Okay, what's your major point in this presentation? Then ask something similar to that. I know I'm overly asking, but do your best.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Professor, I'm having a hard time with the ethical assignment. Okay. Like, we have like too many different sections. Do we have like to answer 1 question? Like, do we have to answer all the sections and like make a paragraph for each section?
You can have a couple paragraphs for each section. The first one is talking about the background section. I want to use the stakeholder. Okay, so this issue, the public or private, okay, should that be a public issue? From company's perspective, they want it to be private. From government, from different stakeholders have different stuff. I want you to identify. You consider this whole thing from the stakeholders' perspective. So you may have a couple paragraphs on that. Then decision making. What kind of rule are you going to use? Okay, you think you're going to use 30% utilitarian rule and the practical rule and the human right rule, 80%. You think these are more important? And how are you going to justify that? Then you write a conclusion. And I think that's really a good exercise to show your critical thinking, data collection, and everything, as well as ethical decision making. Okay, so it's a good exercise. That's why I make it 40 points.
So it's like answering each question. If I were like,
I mean, basically, it's a question with the conclusion, right?
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Nicholas, you showed up. Any question?
Yes. So I was wondering if for the ethics assessment, should we follow this strictly, or could it also be, or should it be more like a discussion of pros and cons, like going back and forth?
In the last section could be that. But in the front, I want you to have a brief discussion about stakeholder, okay, from different perspectives.
Okay.
And because you're going to use these framework for a lot of other things in the future, okay?
Okay.
The company, a lot of decision making, you just do it very narrowly. I want you to use these framework. At least you try it as an exercise, different stakeholder from different perspective, not just from users' perspective, pros and cons, but from different stakeholder pros and cons.
Okay. Thank you.
Follow me, huh? Yeah. Okay. I have two more person or one more person. Spencer, your question? No? If everything's okay, have a nice test. I see you on Wednesday.